used to think, and I was thinking about your question, and I'm typically an art drawn, or I'm drawn to the artwork on the comics. But then I thought about it, all the Robert E. Howard inspired stuff. I'm kind of the completist one. So in a lot of cases, it didn't even matter.
See, and maybe because I'm a writer, I will tolerate, okay art for a well-written story, but I will not buy something drawn in the most beautiful fashion with a bad story. I can't do it. I'll flip through it. I'll appreciate looking at the pages, but if it's a terrible story with the most beautiful art, I could care less. I wouldn't buy it.
Yeah, I've been more into I've been more into like stories, like comics, like miniseries or comics that have been going on for a long time, but will eventually end.
So a complete story.
A complete story, yeah. And so yeah, it's the story nowadays that definitely sticks.
All right, now here's another question. Color, black and white. Preferences, thoughts on it? Won't touch it.
I can say I'm probably a bit spoiled because I've read lots of different types of manga as well as comics, and manga is typically in a black and white drawn format. And if reading those has told me anything, you can take black and white and still do some very amazing things. So I say give it all a try, black and white or color. I mean, as long as the artist is able to do the best they can with it, then you have no real reason to dislike it unless you want to nitpick that much.
Yeah, I started with Battle Angel Alita for the manga stuff, and that's kind of what got me started, like black and white, and you sort of begin to absorb it, you sort of accept it, and then I think certainly with color, especially now with a lot of the digital enhancements that they do with color now, like in the Iron Man series or whatever, I think that's got its own place. But for me, it's a little both. But most of the stuff I'm reading now, it's all color. But it's not necessarily by choice.
I remember there being a time when people would say, if it's black and white, I won't read it. I remember that when we first started the books here. I remember people saying, I won't read black and white comics.
Did you get any reason why? Or it's just,
that was it.
It's black and white, I don't want to look at it.
It's like the same thing with movies where modern day people, most modern day people just don't watch movies in black and white. I met a lot of people.
Yeah, well, I think that's true, and a lot of certainly from the movie standpoint, I think they think it's dated or it's older. But then you have some modern directors that filmed the movie modern day in black and white for effect. And a movie like Psycho, I don't think would look very good in color.
Well, they remade Psycho, and it was horrible.
Right. Yeah. But I can appreciate both. I think I probably have a preference for black and white. Just from the standpoint of talking about comic art, I think that a black and white artist, knowing that it will not have any color to enhance it, tends to be a little heavier with the black ink. And appropriately so. And I really appreciate the kind of artists that really do a lot of the, I think it takes a lot more thought into shadow and design and pleasing your eye without knowing that, the guy's going to come in with a computer palette and just, color it all in for you.
You look at Jeff Smith's Bone, and that was black and white. It was gorgeous. You guys read Bone?
I have.
Gorgeous book.
Getting down.
And then you see the Scholastic color versions. Looks just as good. Did he almost plan for it to be in color? Or or is it just that?
Well, I think his style lends itself to both. He's got a very, kind of like the newspaper strips, where 6 days out of the week they're black and white, and then the Sunday strips, and they look good, colorized. But I think there's some kind of purity to the black and white that I really appreciate.
It's kind of stripped down to its bare bones, where you've got black and white in story. And you don't have any sort of distraction maybe with color and that kind of enhancement, but I could see that. It's got to be sort of just the basic elements of black and white drawing and dialogue or story.
Anyone else thoughts on black and white color? You guys over there? Any idea?
Two giggling girls.
We don't giggle, we chuckle.
Let's take it to a different level. Fine art and fine artists, and who are your favorites, and if they had any kind of crossover into more illustrative kind of comic book style or something like that.
What defines a fine artist?
I'm talking, classical painters or, illustrators, Picasso's, Matisse's, whatever.
Tim Burton,
Yeah?
he's very eccentric in his art, but he does a lot of drawing and painting, and he does a lot of work with ink. But he kind of did crossover. If you go to the MoMA, all his work from when he was a freshman in high school to now
Wow, okay.
is on exhibit, and it's there till April. I actually went last Friday, and it was really cool because he does do a lot of black and white work, and it looks similar to a lot of graphics with that stuff. But he's did a lot of variations, but a lot of his stuff is eccentric.
Yeah.
I know on the Nightmare Before Christmas DVD, they have a lot of his sketch work in some buried section of one of the special features on it. And it's pretty cool that a lot of those early designs that he had from years and years and years ago, they developed into characters, almost like one for one, the way he sketched things. So, yeah, I heard about that too, that they had some kind of an exhibit of his work.
Prime example, and I can only think of this one, the artist Salvador Dali. And I don't know if it's well known or not, but he worked for Disney on one occasion to make a short animated film for them, specifically using his artwork and designs. I only seen a little bit of the film myself, but not to completion. I just know that at the time it was so amazing that someone like Dali, with his very surreal artwork and other designs, would be asked to do a film for Disney, which at the time piqued a lot of people's interest because he combines so many different images that quite literally would make you think, what? Wow, that's just strange. And to this day, I know, and it was apparently interesting enough that at my family's home, they have some of the, one of the few prints of his actual cells. Like,
wow.
in the form of a painting. Like, he painted, like, his recreations in the form of these paintings. Like, only a few hundred of these were ever made. So that's the best example I can think of on that.
That wasn't a black and white feature that had the camera like zooming in on somebody's eye, like all this weird stuff. It was very, very avant-garde, almost like dream-like. But it was film, it wasn't animated. Okay.
No. I remember expressly this was an animated film.
Okay, because I know when they had a large exhibit of his at the Wadsworth Athenaeum, this is many years ago, they showed one of the feature films that he made, like a short film, and it was just really out there, kind of bizarre imagery, like one of his paintings, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just remember, because looking at the paintings, this was explicitly an animated film.
Wow.
I like the MC Escher. And then, I don't know if it counts, but Drew Struzan. He did all the movie posters.
Andy Warhol.
I like Alex Gray. He did, I think, the last 3 Tool albums,
Okay.
and all the art inside of it. He was on display at a museum as well. I think it was at the moment. But it's all sorts of layered, mostly like with a person's body, with like an eye, with nerves coming off it all throughout the body. It's pretty wild. Yeah. There's eyes. There's a lot of eyes. He'll have the whole background. It's just eyes.